Welcome back, everyone. Wade Boggs fan here with another video. Today I thought I'd do a little something different and do more of an informative or educational type video. And I decided to call it How to Collect Sports Cards on a Budget. Now, for those, let's just say, veteran collectors like myself, some of the stuff may not be new to you, may be very familiar to you, because most of us do not have unlimited funds to spend on our favorite sports cards. So this may be tailored more toward the newer collectors or those who have collected in the past and are coming back into the hobby. This isn't for those that are looking to quote unquote invest or flip, which is fine, but those of us that want to collect and need to do so on a budget. We're not doing it to, as a business, or like I said, other areas where you may have some funds available to purchase cards and then look to resell and things like that. But generally speaking, I'm talking about the general collector out there and how to enjoy the hobby and collect cards on a budget. So the first thing that is important is set a budget. The thing that you want to do, this is a hobby, and you want to make sure that you have all your normal living expenses and all that stuff taken care of before you figure out how much you can spend on sports cards. I've seen many posts on Facebook that says, "Hey, I have some bills due," and there are some things that always, pop up unexpectedly, car repair or things like that. But I sometimes wonder whether some people get a little over their heads in spending, and then they have to pay a bill or something like that, and they don't have enough funds, and they're looking to sell cards to get money back to pay their bills. The first thing you need to do in setting a budget is figure out those basic necessities for you and your family. That is the utmost importance. This is a hobby. You want to take care of those more important things first, and then hopefully there's some money left over that you can figure out, whether it's a weekly, a paycheck, or monthly basis, what you can easily afford for sports cards. The one thing that you do not want to do is buy cards on credit, using your credit card. Trust me. Unfortunately, I fell into that trap about 15 or so years ago. It was around the 2004, 2005 time period. And if you follow some of my videos, you know that there were a lot of Wade Boggs cards produced in 2004 and 2005. And back then, man, I saw a card, man, I had to have it. Oh, another one popped up. Oh, I had to have that one. And it sort of creeps up on you if you're not careful. Oh, I'll just put this $20 card on the credit card. I'll pay it off next month. I'll have some money. I'll just put this $30 card on. It's just $40. I'll just put it on the card. Don't worry about it. Well, you keep doing that, and in a month you get the credit card bill and go, oh shoot, okay, now I got to pay that. But then I also have some money that I wanted to spend on cards, and it took me a little while to get out from the little hole I put myself in, and I vowed never again. Especially if you think you're getting a bargain on a card and it takes you several months to pay it off, you're paying interest on those credit cards. Does it really become a bargain anymore? You want to try to avoid that. Now, there may be an instance where your holy grail card, whatever that may be, come up and it's fairly expensive. If that happens, you still need to be very careful. Make sure that, if you have a spouse, that you okay it, in terms of family finances. Again, you have to keep all that stuff in perspective. And it may be something where okay, I'll set aside, I won't buy any other cards or whatever. I'll set aside that money for the next couple months and I'll pay this one card off because it's such an important card for my collection. But really try to avoid buying cards and and building up credit card debt. So the first thing to do, again, is to set a budget that you are comfortable with, that you can still make your monthly payments for your car, your mortgage, electricity, for food, you name it. Maybe even to put some away for savings, college education for your kids, those types. You want to take care of those things first. Then hopefully you have some extra money available to spend on sports cards. The second thing that you want to look at is you want to find a focus. There are so many cards out there that you can collect. So many cards that you see other YouTubers have in their collection, or pull from packs or boxes, or they just show off cards from their collection. You go, wow, that is an awesome card. I'd love to have that, or I'd love to have that one, or oh man, that player, I want to collect that player. I want to do this. I want to do that. It reminds me of that one, I think it was a Disney movie. Was it Up? Where that dog had a little collar and could talk. And he's, having a conversation and stuff. And all of a sudden he turns to squirrel. Like, you can so easily be distracted. You have to have some sort of focus. So I took a look at 4 potential areas that you could focus in and still do it on a budget. Now, there's more ways than this, but these are just 4 that came to mind. The first one is complete sets. So you can look to build a complete set for a particular, say the 2018 Topps. Work on that set, or a 1978 Topps set. Whatever, maybe from your childhood, or current sets, the 2020 Topps set, Series 1, Series 2, and so on. Various ways to go about that. That's how actually I started collecting. Yeah, I would buy some packs, but my goal was to eventually get a complete set. Now, sometimes I would just go out and buy the set, but then you can, have fun putting it in binders and looking at the different cards, things like that. So relatively inexpensive, depending on what the set is. You may have some star cards in there that may cost you a little bit, but for the majority of this complete set, you're going to have a lot of commons. And it may be something where you can trade with some fellow YouTubers or in your local card shop. And, if you have some duplicates and some people have ones that, you need and things, you can do some trading. And that way, very inexpensively, build a set. So that's one area that you can focus on. Another area you can focus on is collecting a particular team. Maybe it's your local team. Maybe it's a team that you grew up watching, rooting for, still root for, but maybe you live in a different part of the country. Team collecting is very popular and a fairly inexpensive way to collect sports cards. You're always going to have those star players on those teams for any particular year, and so you may have to pay a little bit more for them. But there are a lot of players on a particular team in any given year that you can pick up fairly inexpensively. And man, the folks on YouTube in this card community, if you know that you collect a certain team or certain, have a certain focus, there's some people out there that want to try to help you out and can send you care packages or even do trades and can help build your collection. The third area that is could be a potential focus for you is what I do: collect a particular player. Now, here's where things could get a little bit more expensive depending on the player that you wish to collect. If you want to start going all in on Mike Trout or Mickey Mantle collection or LeBron James, or you name a sport, some of the key stars players, depending on what cards you go after, could be somewhat expensive, but not necessarily. Even though I collect Wade Boggs cards, And there, luckily for me, he is not one of the on the higher end of the star popularity spectrum in the hobby. So his cards are relatively inexpensive, given the competitiveness of the other Boggs collectors out there. But I've contemplating picking up some Mike Trout cards just to start a little player collection. I've looked on eBay. I did a filter for cards with free shipping, and I did buy it nows and sorted by lowest price, and there were a ton. Now granted, there were a lot of base cards, unnumbered, inserts, maybe some parallels, nothing high end, nothing graded, but I can pick up so many cards for $1, $1.50, $2, $3. Doesn't have to be that expensive to build a nice, say, Mike Trout collection. So it can be done very easily on a budget. If you do have some big name players that you want to collect and some of their cards are very expensive, another way to fit them into your budget is to find them in a lower grade. And especially for vintage, you can do this easily, and you don't have to get the highest grade out there. You can find 3s, 4s, 5s, PSA graded cards that are well centered. Yeah, they may have some corner wear or things like that. The back may be off centered a little bit, but still have some great eye appeal and would be a great card in your collection. So it's a 3, but you have that card of that player. So there are ways, even with a player collection that could be expensive, you can make it fit into your budget. The last focus that I thought of a potential is collecting rookie cards of players. So not focus on a particular player or a team, but various players that you like over, current players, veteran players, you name it, a mixture. You could want to go after their rookie card, or even maybe their second year card. If rookie cards are too expensive, which they can be, again, in certain grades, maybe you want to focus on their second year card and start a collection of everyone's second year card of Hall of Famers or current stars or whatever. But again, even with rookie cards, with the exception of some of the huge names like a Mickey Mantle, some of the vintage cards there, you can still maybe fit them in your budget in a lower grade. So there's still a way to have a rookie card collection and still have it fit within your budget. So I've gone over 2 areas now: set a budget, finding a focus. The third area is you need to learn to say no. Once you have your focus, you're going to see cards, whether it show up on eBay or you go to a show, and you're going to look and you go, wow, I really want that card. Sometimes you have to say no. If it's, and sometimes it's hard. I know it's hard for me to see a listing on eBay show up for a Boggs card, and I have to tell myself, is this a card I want or a card I need? I very rarely come across a card I need. Lots of cards I want, but you have to look at, okay, what am I going to have to pay for that card? Are there other cards coming up, say, on my watch list that I may be more interested in? Maybe you can still go after it, but don't, place a bid in your budget. But sometimes you have to look at a listing or a card and sometimes say no. If you want to stick within your budget, you have to learn to say no sometimes and be okay with that. You might have trouble in the beginning, and I did too. It was I hated seeing listings end without placing a bid on it or something. But I've realized no one out there is going to get every single, no matter what your focus is, you're never going to be able to get every single card that you want. There's just so many out there, so many others that want those cards as well. Unless you have unlimited funds, you're not going to get there. So be okay with that. and learn to say no. The fourth area, which sort of goes with learning to say no, is be patient. This is a little bit different, but somewhat similar, I guess, with saying no, is when you see a card, I'm going to, again, refer to eBay. When you see a card show up on eBay, if you don't win the first one, don't worry about it. Unless you're talking about a one-of-one or really short-numbered, serial numbered cards or super short prints or things like that, chances are there's going to be another copy show up at some point on eBay. And if not, it just may not meant to be. That card may not be in your collection. But be patient. Perfect example for my Wade Boggs collecting. Especially happens when a new set is released. I'll see the first card pop up on eBay, and sometimes it's a buy it now or an auction or whatever. And there are some Boggs collectors that, man, as soon as they see one hit the auction, man, they're placing a high bid. They want to get that card. They want to mark it off their checklist. All right. Some of them just hit the buy it now. And for me, I rarely go after the first card that I see on eBay. I rarely go after the second card. I may put a bid in, but still within my budget, knowing that I'm probably going to lose out. Even the third card. I've had some cards that are serial numbered out of 25. I've literally tracked 6, 8, 10 examples show up on eBay and all sell for maybe higher than what I'm willing to pay. And a lot of times, 6 months later, 9 months later, whatever the case may be, one will show up. And because the other Boggs collectors, they're focusing on something else, or they already have a copy. There have been many times when I've been able to pick up that card for less than what they've been able to pick it up for. And so sometimes patience is a virtue. Don't necessarily have to get the first one out that you see there. Be patient. There'll be some, like I said, unless they're really, I've done it on serial numbered out of 25 cards. I've done it on some serial numbered out of 10 cards. Not as often, of course, because there's only 10 copies. So the smaller the supply, yeah, there's a chance that you may not see another one again for a very, very, very long time. But most cases are you will. And if you're patient, you can probably pick something up for a price that's within your budget when you may not be fighting with everyone else for that card 6 months prior. So the last thing is, and this is almost as important as setting a budget. The last thing that you want to do is have fun. That's what this hobby is about. Having fun, enjoying your collecting no matter what you collect. It doesn't matter how rare your cards are, how valuable your cards are to other people. If it's something that you enjoy, that's what's important. If you have a player that hit the, say, major leagues from your hometown and they have 75 cards of them made, because they were in the big leagues for 4 or 5 years or something like that, and you're able to go after them and collect them and say, hey, I got maybe all 75 or so. Maybe you can collect all of them if they're not super rare. Collecting your favorite team, whatever it is, just because they may not be quote unquote worth a lot or rare a lot, or they may not be, a Mike Trout collection, doesn't matter as long as you are having fun. The hobby is meant to be enjoyed. There's some frustrations out there, okay? But if you stick within your budget, find a focus that you enjoy, you're going to have fun in this hobby. So that's really all I have for this. I hope you found some of it helpful. If there are other areas in addition to the 5 that I've mentioned that you can think of, please let me know in the comments. Would like to have this, turn into a little bit of a discussion. I may have missed some areas, but for the most part, I think these are the 5 general areas that you want to take a look at when you are trying to collect sports cards on a budget and still have fun. So that's all I have for you for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.